not because of men's desires are strong that they act ill. It's because of their conscience are weak. So essentially, man sins. Man gets into vices. Man does wrong things. Man performs or does immoral acts. This is the fundamental point. कि man आदमी गलत काम करता है. He sins, he gets into vices, he does wrong things, he acts immorally. The topic says कि ये क्यों होता है? One is because our desires are strong. One because our mind craves for excitement. It's because we are victims of our passions and desires that man craves for the forbidden things. That हमारा एक longingness है. We want to do some things. It could be anything. It could be greed for money. It could be sexual greed. It could be greed for power and authority. It could be a longing for some relationships. So this is one reason कि हमारा desire is strong है. The second says that we do wrong things because our conscience is weak. Okay, because our moral boundaries are not strong. एक तो है ना कि मैं कुछ गलत काम करना चाहता हूं and there are boundaries that I have made. So what makes me do the wrong things? Is it the desire to do the wrong thing that is strong, or is it because my boundaries are weak? The essay topic says that this is not the reason why people make mistakes. Okay, people make mistakes because their moral boundaries are weak. Okay, example, like one of you gave a very good example. He says, why do we have accidents? We don't have accidents because a car can be driven fast. We have accidents because the brakes don't work well. Okay, a very nice analogy. और उसने पूरा एक पेज लिखा है उसमें. It was a very powerful, I'll say, a metaphor for this topic. कि accidents होते हैं not because a car is driving fast. Okay, accidents are because आप control नहीं कर पा रहे हो because the brakes are not working well. So your conscience are your brakes. Your boundaries are your brakes. Your teachings are your brakes. Because these are natural desire. अगर human beings हैं, if we are biological, if we are hormonal, if we have a mind to think, if we are ambitious, the desires तो होंगे ना, passions तो होंगे आपके. Okay, it is your teachings, your conscience, your moral fabric that stops you crossing the boundaries. This was the essential essay, and a distinction, or I think most of you understood, but you could not bring out in terms of an organized theme. I just saw, I think 4 or 5 of you attempt this topic. Okay, most of them have done the third topic. Okay, I hope you got the topic, all of you now. The reasons why we transgress is not because see, 3-4 things. One is why are desires not the reasons? Why are desires not the reasons for the wrongs we do? Because desires are part of being human. Every normal person will have passion and emotions. Okay, these are natural. Desires are part of being human. Having passions and emotions, they are part of being natural. That the longing for authority, the longing for power, the longing for control, the desire to dominate, some way is one of the attributes of life. I mean, ये evolutionary है. The survival of the fittest is evolutionary. You want to dominate. You want to be in control. You want to have authority. You want to prevail over the others. Okay, this is very natural. So why desires themselves are not the reasons for the wrongs that we do? Because desires are part of our human trait. Being passionate, having emotions are natural. Our longing for dominance, authority, it's very much evolutionary. Okay, it's part of that instinct. Okay, some of these are part of our survival instincts. That's why we say, that's why anger, the feeling for revenge, the desire to own, these are natural human traits. Okay, gussa aana is not the wrong thing. In fact, gussa nahi aana is abnormal. It's like you can't feel, you are apathetic. Okay, not having anger, not having feelings of revenge, that is unnatural. That is probably like a wooden existence that shows that आप में कोई feelings नहीं है. That's actually not being human. So anger is natural. Feelings for revenge is natural. The desire to own, the desire to possess, that is natural. और बड़ा अच्छा example दिया है इसमें कि a man like Gandhi ji, okay, even he has examples of where he has transgressed. Be it his experiments with eating non-vegetarian food, be it his relationship with his wife also. Okay, but I have famous लिखते भी हैं कि how his father was ill and dying, and he was more concerned with his wife and his sexual act. Gandhiji always had the guilt eventually. Okay, so that's very natural. A person can have natural desires. ठीक है, तो ये पहला part ऐसे होना चाहिए था. The second part is that these are not the problems. The problems are not related to this. The problems are that our checks, that our control, that our conscience that holds us back, those are weak. Okay, it's like the moral leash hona chahiye tha. The moral controls, those are weak. The boundaries we set, the boundaries are blurred. और ये होता इसलिए है because now this is one part of the essay. So discuss the essay under these 3-4 things. That having desires are natural. Having desires is being human. Having desires is part of evolution. ये अपने आप में एक paragraph बन जाएगा with examples, with discussions. That's one part of the essay. Then you shift towards this one. कि how the checks can be weak. The controls are weak. The conscience to hold us back, those are weak. The morals are weak. Why? Because those people जिसमें ये कम होता है, they are largely selfish people. So why we commit sins is not because we have desires. We commit sins because we are selfish, and we cannot overcome that. We are selfish. We don't care about the harm it does to others. The harm it does to others. Simple thing like, I'm sure discipline is not an easy. इसका example, in fact, good one हो सकता है. That discipline is not an easy thing. Simple thing like, you come into class regularly. So temptation होता है, drop the class. Temptation is oversleep. Temptation is recording देख लेंगे. That's very human. But why people are indisciplined is because they don't realize कि doing that का कितना बड़ा harm हो सकता है to us and others. Imagine, okay, the expectations which are on you. आपके expenses हैं which your parents are taking care of. There is some element of dependency on you because some people is waiting कि आप qualify करोगे and then we'll start on the lives. think of relationships. अब वो सारा चीज भूल कर, okay, that 2 hours of extra sleep dominates you. वो सारा responsibility भूल कर, that small moment of laziness dominates you. Essentially, you're being selfish. कि ठीक है, सो जाते हैं, so what? नहीं करते हैं, so what? So why people cross? Because they are selfish. They don't care about what harm it can do to others. Okay. Why people do this is essentially they lack empathy. They don't realize, okay, what harm it does. They don't realize the feelings others are going through. So being selfish is why we commit those sins. Lacking empathy is why we commit those sins. Okay. Third reason is people lack patience. People lack patience. People lack what's called as, they lack the sense of delayed gratification. Okay. Desires तो है, desire होता है ना कि जाकर मैं चलो यार, let me have unhealthy food, let me spend binge spending, let's do it. Wisdom is have patience and give yourself a good exercise, give yourself good earnings and then spend. That is called as delayed gratification. Delayed gratification, it only happens when somebody has a sense of sacrificing small term benefits. ये हमारा होता नहीं है. ठीक है, we are not used to delaying the gratification, the benefits that we can get. They say the problem was how to break up a topic, and I'm helping you break up the topic. The first part is why desires are not responsible. I've given you 3 points. Then why the boundaries are weak, we commit sins. I've given you 3 points here. Okay, so what ends up making us do wrong things is we are selfish, we lack empathy, we lack the sense of delayed gratification. And ये सारा जो है, now this can be a discussion. All of this, why it happens? Why do people become selfish? Why do people lack empathy? Essentially, these are the consequence of a wrong upbringing, the consequence of incorrect socialization is because we lack moral leaders. जो बच्चे हैं उनको ये चीज दिखता ही नहीं है. They lack moral leaders. They have incorrect socialization. Okay, they lack proper education. They lack true value education. Parenting में problems होती हैं. Lot of things we learn from wrong parental exposures. We are not taught the virtues of respecting others, virtues of strong controls and moral boundaries. So your essay का 4 part बता दिया. One is start the essay with this discussion that man does wrong things. यही आपका first part essay होगा. Man commits sins and there are debates about why he commits sins. आराम से आपका 1-1.5 page जाएगा इसमें. Second is the theme called this one. The desires are not the reasons because the natural, instinctual part of being humans. Okay, not feeling angry is unnatural. Not having sense of revenge is unnatural. Not trying to own and possess is unnatural. इस पे अब बन जाएगा with examples. The third part is how conscience weak means what? These 3 points. The fourth aspect is ultimately क्यों होता है? Why do we have this? Why does our boundary weaken? ये आपका fourth section होगा. So antithesis, Rishika is asking, ulta kya hona chahiye? See, there has been one narrative that we must learn to give up our desires. Okay, if you talk about lot of religious teachings mein, it is about give up your desires. Desires are the reasons for all our pain. ये Buddhism का तो virtue है, right? all desire and wants are the reasons for the pains. We talk about anger as a bad thing. हमें सिखाया गया है गुस्सा करना बुरी बात है. Anger is a bad thing. We are taught that a possession is a bad thing. ये ऐसे उल्टा बोल रहा है. Yes, to be wantless, absolutely, Manpreet. Okay, the essay topic was to be wantless is utopian. Okay, maybe some people can do that who have no wants, no desires. So our solution to the problems is not actually a self-actualization. आप कर पाए तो कर लो, but that's less difficult, that's less easy, that's difficult. So antithesis is, ulta will be that while we are taught wants and desires are the roots of all pains, while we are taught possession is the reason for all our sufferings, longingness is the reason for suffering. Okay, the answer is, that's not natural. This topic says our boundaries not complying are the reasons for the wrong things that we do.